There has been a few technical difficulties today. So welcome to my live. My name is Kiaundra Jackson. I will be discussing do they really exist? And we're going to get into that today. For the people who do not know me, who aren't familiar with my work, please know that my name is Kiaundra Jackson. I am a licensed clinician here based in the Los Angeles area. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, to be specific. I am an award-winning speaker. I'm a best-selling author. I am a TV and media personality. And if you know anything about me, I am just passionate about all things healthy relationships and mental health. So we're going to have a wonderful conversation today, you guys. So if you can hear me, if you can see me well, because sometimes technical issues do happen, please put one in the chat box. And then that way we can get this party. There we go. Woo, woo, woo. We can get this party started, right? I see the emojis coming in. I love this. And so today we're going to be discussing, do soulmates really exist, or is just, hey Jenny, thank you for joining me, or is it just compatibility? Now, this conversation isn't going to be one where I'm going to be saying people are right, or one where I'm saying people are wrong, or any of those things. It's going to be a really in-depth conversation that I want to have with you guys. And I want to get your perspective as well, because I took a poll here on my YouTube channel in my community post. So if you're somebody who hasn't been in my community post tab, you need to do that, because I have polls over there. I engage. I send show you guys behind the scene photos, all different types of things. I'm just obsessed with all things YouTube, and I'm just obsessed with you guys. So I think over 65% of you guys said that you do believe in soulmates. And then the other percentage of you guys said that you did not. And the people who did not believe in soulmates were the ones in the comment section chatting it up, saying why they didn't believe that to be the case. But I was also looking for the people who do. And y'all just stayed a little silent, So if you're somebody who believes in soulmates, I want you to be very vocal in this conversation as well, because your perspective is very helpful in getting this conversation going. So you also have to please excuse my voice. I did a 4-hour training today on social media for therapists and clinicians and how to manage that ethically. So my voice is a little dry, a little raspy, is going in and out, but I was committed to getting on here and still talking to you guys about this topic because I said that I would. So put in the comment section, are you someone who believes, hey, my mom is on here. Hey, Miss Lenora. Do you believe in soulmates? I want you to put yes in the comment section if you believe, or no in the comment section if you do not believe. It sounds like Jenny is saying yes. Okay. Jenny says, I believe in each person having a perfect match. Ooh, I love that. That just makes me feel all good inside. Mom, if you still on here, do you believe in soulmates? Yes or no? Jenny says she found hers. Period. Tell him, Jenny. She said, I found my man. Okay. I found the love of my life. I found mine, and we are rocking and rolling. I love that so much. I love it. All right. So let's get into this conversation. So let's first talk about, what do we mean by soulmates? Because I've seen that so many different people have different definitions of what a soulmate is or what a soulmate entails. And some of you guys put in the comment section on my community post here on YouTube, like you believe soulmates are for friendships and they're not necessarily romantic. And I just start thinking about all of the different ways that people discuss soulmates, and then people start getting into this concept of twin flames and all of those things. And I was like, whoa, this is interesting. So excuse me. So soulmates typically come from the perspective of that you are spiritually or divinely connected to someone, and that they are considered to be the one, quote unquote, for you. Yes, Jenny says, the person God made to fit me exactly. That's pretty much what soulmates are. You feel like God was the one who created an additional person that was just perfectly for you, right? Some people find that person, some people don't. We're going to talk about that towards the end of this conversation as well. And so some people believe that there's one perfect person for them out there into the world that specifically just meant for you and nobody else, right? And if I'm being honest, this is often associated with a lot of religious beliefs, right? You guys know I'm Team Jesus on this channel. There's no surprise about that. I talk about that all the time, right? But oftentimes the one or having a soulmate is centered around religious or spiritual beliefs or some type of destiny based belief system, meaning that God, the God of the universe, has created my life and the ins and the outs and the in-betweens of that thing, right? And he even took into consideration my love life, and he created in another individual that is going to be a perfect fit for me, a match for me, right? And so I think this soulmate concept really blew up in popular culture and pop cultures and movies and books and songs and all of those things. And we tend to really lean into that because we see a lot of that in movies. Think about all of the Disney stories, the Disney movies that we are entrenched in or that are provided to us or shown to us. It almost gives that whole like soulmate feel to it as well, that happily ever after, I'm in love feeling, right? So we have to think about discussing the emotional appeal of what a soulmate can be and the reality of that thing. And that's why I included the conversation of is soulmates or all are soulmates real, or is it truly just compatibility? Like, oh, I just vibe really hard with this person. We're aligned on multiple levels. And so, yes, this person is going to be a good fit for me, and I'm going to choose this person versus it being just somebody that God provided for me, right? So I want you to put in the comment section, do you believe in one person for everybody being a soulmate, I can't even talk today, or can there be multiple soulmates over a person's lifetime? Because this was a point that one of the people put in the comment section on the post where I took a poll of if people believe in soulmates or not. Someone put, I believe you can have multiple soulmates over the course of your life. Like, oh, in this season of my life, I have a person that just gels well with me on this. And then, that didn't work out for whatever reason. And then in another season, there's somebody that I can connect with in the way that I'm supposed to connect. So do you believe in one person for every single person, or do you believe you can have multiple soulmates? Put it in the comment section so we can see what you guys think and how you guys feel about that. I know Jenny is already like, nope, one person. Oh, wait. Many deep loves, but one soulmate. Ooh, Jenny, you're getting deep with me today. I love this. I love that. And you're right. I think we can fall deeply in love with multiple people because sometimes we think it's love. We think people are the ones when we're in relationships. And then as time progresses and we move forward, we realize that person wasn't the one because they shifted, they changed, we changed, the world changed, all of those things, and we're no longer compatible, right? And so that leads us to the other conversation or the additional conversation that we need to have around compatibility, right? Compatibility is the psychology of this long lasting love, right? In psychology, we talk about compatibility a lot. Like, there isn't really talks about soulmates in psychology. Like when we're in school and we're learning, and relationship experts and relationship therapists, like soulmates wasn't even a thing. That wasn't even a topic. That wasn't even a conversation. That wasn't even in any type of curriculum or any course or any of those things, right? And so it's really more so about compatibility that's talked about a lot. Again, I'm not saying one is wrong, one isn't wrong, but compatibility is just the shared values, the communication, the emotional safety, and the lifestyle fit between two people. If you're new to my channel or if you haven't seen the video, I did a video breaking down the differences between chemistry, compatibility, and connection, right? And it's important for you to know the difference between the three because they are not the same. They are all very much different. And compatibility is making sure that you have that lifestyle fit. Are your goals and desires the same? Do you guys want to be on the same page? Do you guys have the same long-term goals? Do you guys both want to get married, have a house, you have children, do all of these things? Are you guys aligned in those areas, in those bigger, larger areas? Because oftentimes, if you're not, it won't work, right? I tell you guys this all of the time that guess what? The thing that initially attracts you to each other or to attract to the thing that initially attracts people to each other are differences. Oh, this person is so unique. They're so different than me. They're so interesting. Like, whoa, they had a different perspective, a different upbringing. And that's why we get that whole bad boy, good girl mentality from. But then what keeps relationships and marriages together long term are what? Similarities, right? The things that people are the same on or have very similar belief systems about. So I want you to keep that also in mind. That's why the compatibility talk and the compatibility conversation is so important for this very reason. So when we talk about the psychology part, psychology really backs up the compatibility portion, right? It means like, oh, me and this person should have very similar emotional intelligence. Jenny says, that's where your content helps me raise my own, be more authentic. I can connect deeper than ever before. If I have to lie to keep them, they aren't for me. That's right. We do not lie to keep anybody. But the whole goal is to make sure that you and this person are on the same page and on the same wavelength, right? So you want to make sure that they are able to tap into their emotional intelligence, that you have this secure attachment with them, right? You're not anxious or you're not avoidant. You're not all of these things in that person's presence. You can just be your true, authentic self, right? And if you guys align on the bigger stuff, the smaller stuff will come into place. It'll just fall into place. And the important thing about compatibility in regards to relationships is making sure that you have conflict resolution skills. A lot of relationships don't make it because they don't know how to resolve conflict. When things get a little bit heated, when y'all not on the same page, when one person wants to do X and the other person wants to do Y and Z, and you guys just can't come to a conclusion in between, like, how do you navigate conflict? Are you rude and disrespectful and call people names or get physically violent? All of those things. What do you do in those moments of conflict, right? Making sure that you are trying to resolve it because you know that you and this person is on the same team is important, right? So you need to build love through effort. It's not just about feelings and not just about like, oh, my heart was skipping a beat. I had butterflies in my stomach and he's so fine and she's so fine. And it's built on, no, it's built on effort. It's built on trust, right? Compatibility does not mean things have to be boring. It just means they need to be sustainable over time. Let's say that again for the people in the back. Compatibility does not have to be boring. It just means it needs to be sustainable over time. So let's talk about a real life angle from this perspective. Have you ever, and be honest with me, and if you're watching the replay, you can also engage in the comment section. You can also chat back with me as well, right? Because I see all of those too. But a real question that I want to pose to everybody that's on here is, have you ever met someone that you had this really extreme, intense chemistry with, right? Like, and we talked about chemistry being the heart, skipping a beat, butterflies in the stomach, just being like, ooh, googly eye, like this person is so amazing. Like you guys have very intense chemistry, but absolutely 0% compatibility. The long-term goals, the things that you guys are supposed to be on one accord with, the shared values, the communication style, the safety. Has that happened to any of you guys where you felt you had this intense chemistry with someone, but the compatibility part wasn't there? I know I have. Jenny says yes. I know I absolutely have. I mean, like, especially when you're younger, right? Like, you thrive off of the chemistry piece. Like, oh, we vibe out real hard. And when I'm with him and when I'm with her, it's just so much fun. And, oh, he just makes me feel so good. And she's amazing and all of these things, right? But when it comes down to it, guess what? Are we the same on the core values that matter? Tammy says, yes, but it did not work out. My last boyfriend was extremely attractive to me, but it didn't last, right? And that's real. Like, we have to be honest. Like, sometimes that chemistry can get us in trouble. Thank you for being here, Tammy, and for commenting and for being present. Like, that chemistry can get us in trouble sometimes, right? The chemistry, it may makes you feel some type of way. It does something in our bodies, yes. And we're just like, woo, that person is fine. I think they fine. He think I'm fine. You know, we are in this together. But then, like I mentioned, when you peel back those layers, our time progresses a little bit, and you start really sitting down and having conversations with them and getting to know them for real. You're kind of like, I don't think this person is a really. I don't think this person's a good fit for your girl. I don't think this is gonna work out. You believe this, and I don't believe that. Or you want something more casual, and I want something more long term. I want marriage, and you don't. You want to fling. Like those things just don't work. And so, a lot of times, one of these things, the chemistry, the incompatibility piece, has gotten a lot of people in trouble for sure. So, are you guys up to playing a little game with me? Say yes, put some emojis up. You guys know I love to play a little game in my in my chat. These are so freaking fun to me that I'm just like, oh my god, I should do this more often. Okay, so for the sake of alliteration, meaning just keeping S words consistent, right? The name of this game is going to be called Soulmate or Situationship. Soulmate or situationship. So I'm going to read you guys a list of scenarios one by one, and you can put in the comment section that if you think the scenario that I provide to you, if you think that it is a soulmate where it's just like this is meant to be, or if you think it's just a little situationship and it's like that ain't gonna work out. Okay, so the first one is Tammy's like, I got it, I'm ready. I love it. I love it. And if you're just now joining me, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please make sure to do that because I drop heat content about relationships, celebrities, mental health, culture, TV, movie shows, all different types of things every single week. And it does help me to keep creating content like this for y'all. So the first one is, if they say they never felt this way before about anybody else, but they only text you at night. Is this a soulmate or is this a situationship? Samson, not a convicted felon. Hold on now. That's Jenny says a situationship. What you think, Tammy? And if my mom is still on here, what you think, Mom? She be all quiet. She want to pop in and just be all secretive and whatnot. So this person says that they've never felt this way about anybody before, but they only text you at night. Situationship. Samson, if you're going to be on your best behavior, you can comment too, because I want to hear a male's perspective on this. But if you start saying some interesting things, I might have to go ahead and remove your comments, right? So anyone else want to give their response before I give my correct answer, so to speak? Going once, going twice. Jenny and Tammy are correct. This is a situationship, right? Because why does that person only have to text you at night? Excuse me? What are you hiding? Why do you only have to text me towards the end of the day? Are you with your wife and your kids because you got a secret life? Nah, we don't do that, right? And if you felt like you've never felt like this with anybody before, you're going to act like it. That means you are going to be connecting with me morning, noon, and night, right? And it's not going to be just particularly on this one part of the day, right? Like I get it if people are busy, but if that's the norm and they only text you at night all the time, that's a red flag. But that's a different conversation for another day. Number 2, reciprocity is key. Come on, Jenny. That's right. Number 2, you've been through tough seasons together with this person and they stayed consistent through it all. Is this soulmate vibes or is this, hey, Joanna, thank you for joining. Is this soulmate vibes or is this giving a situationship? You've been through tough times together. They've been rocking with you through thick and thin. They have been consistent. Soulmate or situationships? Jenny says soulmate. Tammy says soulmate. What else y'all got? Everybody else quiet. Okay, cool. Well, Jenny and Tammy are correct. This is giving soulmate vibes, right? They're not switching up on you. They've been there through thick and thin because life sometimes, right? That means we go through roller coaster seasons where things are really, really high, going great, things are amazing. Then we have those low moments where things are dipping and it's like, woo, I don't know how this is going to turn out, right? Like you want somebody that's going to have your back, that's going to be supportive. They're not going to be perfect, but at least they're going to be supportive. They're going to be with you. They're not going to switch up on you, especially when you have a low season. Woo, can you think about how many times people have been, I got excited. Think about how many times where people have, money or they have great things happening in their life and then they start to lose things or life happens and then they're struggling a little bit and now their boyfriend or their girlfriend left them. They don't want to hang out with them anymore. All of these things happen. It's just like, well, where was your person? Right? They weren't really your person if they leave you during the low times. Or if people are used to you being here struggling, right, and barely getting by, and then all of a sudden you have a come up, right, the Lord blesses you with some things, or you have the money or the resources or opportunities or jobs come your way, and now they want to be all up under you all of a sudden. It's like, hold on. I need to make sure that we're in alignment here, right? Don't just be with me because we're having fun and we're having a great time now. Like, make sure you're there between the thick and the thin, the in between. All right, the next one is they finish your sentences. The chemistry is wild, but you fight every single day. Soulmate or situationship? Soulmate or situationship? Soulmate or situationship? I done made a song out of it. Soulmate or situationship? They finish your sentences. The chemistry, the connection is it's wild, but y'all fight every day. Every single day without missing a beat. Jenny says situationship. What else you got? Tammy, what you got on this one? If you're still on here. Not necessarily a soulmate, but needs communication coaching and counseling. That's real talk, right? Like there's absolutely some communication skills there. But for this one, because of the context, and we only can choose one, right? We can't put a middle one in there and say, hey, therapy. I will put this under the category as a situationship, only because there's fighting every day. What in the world are we fighting about every single day? What, every day? Now, not like once a week, once a month, we fight, we have a little disagreement, a little tit-tat, just every single day, like, yeah, absolutely not. That is exhausting. Exhausting. And don't nobody got time for that, right? Okay, the next one is you don't always agree with this person, but you respect each other deeply and you communicate well. Is this person a soulmate or a situationship? Yes, that is absolutely exhausting. Can you imagine dealing with kids and at work all day and then you got to come home and argue every single day? And it's probably about something that's petty and dumb, right? It's like, well, why didn't you put your socks in the dirty clothes hamper? It's like, bro, relax. I worked a 16-hour day. Chill. All right, so you don't always agree, but you respect each other deeply and you communicate well. Jenny says soulmate vibe, potentially. Tammy says soulmate vibe. Ding, 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 ding. Correct. That is correct. It's giving soulmate. Remember, we're not expecting perfection here. We don't want the other person to be perfect because, again, you're not going to agree 100% on things. That's just not going to happen, right? But y'all respect each other. That's important. And you communicate well. You got me right there. Respect and communication well, we can do almost anything, right? So that is absolutely soulmate vibes. Okay, we got a few more before we move on. The next one is you believe that you are soulmates with this person, but they're not emotionally available, meaning they don't share their thoughts, their feelings. They don't allow you to share your thoughts and your feelings. You can't express yourself with them, but you believe that you guys are soulmates. What do you guys think about this one? Soulmate or or situationship? Soulmate or situationship? Soulmate or situationship? Soulmate or situationship? Jenny says situationship. Tammy says situationship vibes. She said it takes two, baby. It takes two to tango. You guys are correct. This is giving situationship vibes with an excuse, right? Like it's giving that. Okay, the next one is they feel like home to you. So they feel safe, secure. It feels like y'all locked in, right? The whole if we locked in, ain't no switch it up. Like that's the whole thing, right? They feel like home to you, but your values. Oh, excuse me. So sorry. So they feel like home to you and your values are aligned. Soulmate or situationship? Soulmate or situationship? Soulmate and situationship. Soulmate. Yes, 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 yes. Soulmate, soulmate, soulmate. And really good compatibility on this one too. Like that, both of those things can be possible. It's like we can be your soulmate and there's compatibility here, right? So if it feels like home and the values are aligned, that compatibility is strong because compatibility is all about the goals, long-term goals, values being in alignment. You guys are on one accord with that. Okay, and last but not least, woo, my voice is going out. I don't know how long I'm gonna last. The last one is feels like home, right? Like it just feels safe. It feels like, like when you're at your house that you have created this environment in, and it is safe and it's secure and it's clean and it's the way that you want it, and it just feels like, I can just relax here. I can just let my shoulders down a little bit. I can just be who I want to be. Like that's solid, right? And so sometimes a lot of people use that as an indicator, right? Where it's like, does this person feel like home for me? And home isn't a destination, right? We're not talking about a literal house, but does it feel safe? Do you feel secure with this person, right? Jenny says a person is also sort of a place and being with them feels like heaven. Yeah, right? It can feel real good when you're with your person. You're with your person. You're with your soulmate, right? Okay, last one on this one. You're constantly hoping that they'll change into who you know they could be. Is this a soulmate or is this a situationship? Ooh. Hey, Clayton. How old are you, Clayton? You just coming in here with your questions. We were talking about relationships. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much, Jake. What do you guys think? Soulmate or situationships for this one? Jenny says situationship. Tammy says nope, situationship. Been there, done that. She said, I'm not falling for this trap. It ain't happening. You're right. This is a situationship because maybe this is another topic for another day. You guys can let me know in the comment section if you're interested. But we should probably talk about like potential, right? Because some people get married to potential all the time. It's like, well, I know that he has it in him and, one day he's going to get it right. And it's just like, okay, what if that day never comes? What if that day never, ever comes? Are you going to be comfortable with just waiting forever? Right? They have to show you something now. That's a word. They have to show you something now. Now, I'm not saying that this person is going to be perfect and, their goals have to be accomplished immediately. But if they are making progress towards that goal, if you're seeing them trying, put it in effort, making even small steps. I always say small steps are still progress. Slow steps are still progress. Small progress is still progress, right? If you seeing them making small steps, baby steps, progress, I'm not mad at that. I'm here for it, right? But that whole potential, wishing and hoping and praying, it's a no for me, dog. Recipe for resentment, absolutely. A recipe for disaster. No potential, it gets old real quick. Especially if we grown adults, right? If you were a teenager and you got that young love, you might can tap into the little potential thing. But as a grown person that got bills and a life, baby, potential ain't it. Okay, you got to come with something. They say bring something to the table. Bring something to the table. Okay, so that is the last one for this question. Y'all was cracking me up though, because Tammy was like, nope, been there, done that. That's my ex. I'm not playing any games with none of that. I love it. I love the honesty, right? Because this is where we are able to grow and to learn. Because if not, it's like we just perpetuate the same stereotypes and ideas over and over again. So let's talk about, oh, Tammy says, yes, at 18, we can split a bird. Tammy is sending me up out of here, okay? Tammy said, yeah, when we're 18, we can split a burger from Burger King. We can split, what's it called? A McDouble or whatever it's called, right? But at 50, at 40, at 30, absolutely not. You better have your own money to buy your own burger, right? Or something, because we're not splitting fries in a burger. We're not splitting a meal. That's hilarious. Jenny says, when I only had potential than others with potential. Woo! Jenny, that's a bar. Jenny said, when I only had potential, then others with potential kept showing up for me, right? That's really good. That's good. Because it really puts the mirror on us. Because if all we got is potential too, then guess what? We're going to attract partners and potential mates that's just giving us potential. That's why you got to make sure you got your stuff together. You making some progress. You put one foot in front of the other. You're trying your best, because if not, that's what you're going to bring into your circle, and that's what you're going to attract. And again, we ain't got time for that, right? Like, no. Jenny says, I wasn't ready for the real thing because I wasn't the real thing. Jenny trying to take us to church, okay? Yeah. You got to be the real thing and be ready for it in order to get that, right? Because people who are real, they can pick up on fake. They can pick up on that real quick, right? Okay, so let's talk about why we chase soulmates to begin with, even if they may or may not be the healthiest thing, depending on your perspective. Tammy, I think you came a little bit after I posed this question. Do you believe in soulmates? Like, do you believe in that there's one person specifically? There's no right or wrong answer, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But do you believe that there is one person for everybody on the face of this earth? Or do you believe that there's multiple? Or you don't believe in soulmates at all and you're like, this is not a thing? I would love to hear your perspective in the comments. So sometimes we get so attached to this whole idea of soulmates because it bonds us with trauma to other people. Yep, we're going there, right? There's a difference between like trauma bonding and like divine connections. Divine connections to me is like God orchestrated that thing. He put y'all two right on the same path. Y'all are doing what y'all need to do, right? And then trauma bonding is, oh, we've been through similar things, so we're attracted to one another because of some of the negative experiences, the past, the trauma that we experience. Tammy says, no, I believe that God gives us options. I don't think it's just one. Thank you for being honest with that. I appreciate that. So you believe more so like the compatibility part, like we're talking about. It's like, hey, I'm just making up something. These 5 people may be a good option for you. And then you get to choose who that person is, right? And it goes into that free will conversation. I think that it may have been you, Tammy, who put it on my the poll that I did in the community post, where I was talking about like if you believe in soulmates or not, right? It goes into the free will conversation. It's like, do we have free will? And are we able to pick and choose our own partners, our own life, our own lifestyle, the things that we want, or we don't? And it's predestined, prearranged, and that's it, right? So to go back to the conversation about trauma bonds and divine connection, like sometimes when we connect with people and we have that chemistry with them, right? And we just like, oh, googly eyes, it's so amazing, blah, 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 blah. It's not because that they're the person that God may have sent us. It's truly because we are connecting on some of the same previous experiences. Like, oh, your ex cheated on you too? Mine did as well. And now we're connected on that thing, right? You had jacked up parents too that was emotionally abusive to you. Dang, my mama was like that too, right? And now you guys have found so many different commonalities within the relationship, and you're bonding not because this is supposed to be your person, you're bonding because of the trauma that you experience. So we have to be careful of the distinction between trauma bonding and divine connections, right? And soulmates can feel very familiar to us if we're under the umbrella of it being more of a trauma bond and not a divine connection, right? And sometimes, a lot of the times, that can be very unsafe. So I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I have seen people be with others who they know they're not supposed to be with. Like, you know that person ain't for you. Quit playing. But they disguise it under the we're meant to be ideology to excuse a lot of the unhealthy patterns in the relationship. Jenny says, God will give me the same lesson over and over until I learn to change. He absolutely will. I have been there so many times. Woo, like going around the same cycle, just over and over again. And it's just like, hold on, why do I keep going through the same things, similar things, over and over again? Clayton, I'm sorry, I didn't even read your comment. I'm just now seeing it. Yes, I believe there's a soulmate for somebody. Awesome, I appreciate you for that. What I was mentioning is like going around the same pattern over and over again, right? And once you get mature enough and you get spiritually mature, you start to have the correct questions with God. You start to be like, bruh, I keep going through this same lesson over and over again. What am I not getting? Right? Like, that becomes your prayer. Like, God, show me the things that I'm not getting in regards to this lesson, because I don't want to repeat this cycle. I don't want to repeat this lesson again. Show me what I need to learn so I can learn it and so we can move on to the next task, right? So that is a real thing. Now, in regards to soulmates, there is this idea of like FOMO, like fear of missing out, and fairy tale stories, because we have been ingrained with all of the Disney stuff and all of the movies and TV shows and all of those things, right? I think there's this idea of, if you believe in soulmates, which again, I talked about this at the beginning, that I'm not saying that somebody's right or somebody's wrong. If you believe in soulmates, what if you miss the one? What if you miss the person? What if? What do you guys think about that? Put in the comment section. If you believe, I know Tammy was like, I don't believe in that. I believe you get to choose. But for the people who believe in soulmates, right? There is this FOMO that happens of like, well, what if I missed that person? What if our paths didn't fully connect, or I didn't recognize that person, they didn't recognize me, or we didn't acknowledge those things? Jenny says, you can't. They'll be back. Okay, they're going to spin the block on you. They're going to come back around. So it's a consistent like, hey, regardless of who you're supposed to be with, they're going to come back around. The opportunity is going to present itself again. Jenny says, your Hard Worker Harmony book helped me to break that pattern. Yes! Your girl is an author. So for the people who are not aware, you can absolutely purchase my book, Hard Worker Harmony. I'll make sure to put it in the description of this video, or make sure to tag it in the video once this video fully uploads. Jenny says, they are near you constantly or in your orbit until you are ready to align. I love these perspectives. I love this so much. So sometimes the lesson is being patient. Is that what you believe, Jenny? Working on yourself, being patient, making sure you're being your best sense of self so you can get to the alignment of getting to that person of who you're supposed to be with. What if that person, I'm just throwing out questions and examples and things that we can kind of like talk through. What if you're ready, you're aligned, you've been doing the work, you're in therapy, you're reading your books, you've been doing your work, you've been doing the things, and that person isn't necessarily at the same level you are at and in the exact same timing? Is that a thing? Or you're like, also, that doesn't work. Like, when you're aligned, that other person is aligned. Timing is absolutely a thing. I have another colleague who always talks about right person, wrong timing. Do you guys believe in that? Put it in the comment section. Let me know. I love to chat with y'all. Do you believe in right person, wrong timing? Like, this is the right person for me, but the timing is off. Well, something like if I would have met them 6 months later, or if I would have met them a year previously, things would potentially be different. So the right person, but the wrong timing. Do you guys believe in that? Jenny says you can miss each other until you are both ready. Yosef says drip alert. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay. Jenny says not for a soulmate. Okay. Tammy says that can happen, right? Because you often have to think about, we do have free will, right? So we have the capacity just to be at home twiddling our thumbs and not doing any type of work on ourselves while our potential person that we're supposed to be with is doing all of the work. Then what? Does that mean that we just miss out and we're going to be single forever? Or does God spin the block on us and provides us with somebody else? These are real conversations. Or spins the block on us and provides us with somebody else who is ready, who is aligned, who is right where they're supposed to be at the right time. And then that's when that free will part mentions, because you get to choose. Like, oh, do I stay with that one person that's still working through some stuff? Or do I get with this new person that clearly God is sending my way or in my orbit because they are ready due to timing? So many questions, right? So many deep conversations, right? So the danger of this soulmate conversation, whether you agree with it or not, and if you really believe that they exist or not, is the difference between waiting on the one or waiting so long that you just don't ever get a chance to meet the person and then you're single for the rest of your life. That's the scary part for a lot of people. Tammy says, God can change a person's heart. Absolutely. And they can grow, but we're not sitting around not living. Ooh, y'all are dropping bars tonight, okay? I believe that God can absolutely change someone's heart, right? There's a scripture in the Bible that says, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. And it's like rivers of living water to make it flow whichever which way you want it to flow. Right? Meaning God makes it to flow whatever which way he wants it to flow, right? So if the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, that means God can change somebody's heart. He can soften their heart, just like he did with Pharaoh in the Bible. God was the one who hardened Pharaoh's heart, right? Like, it wasn't his own doing. It was God who did that to accomplish the plan, right? So if God can harden somebody's heart, he can also soften it. He can always change a person's perspective, change their outlook on you. You can think like, oh, I don't really like that person. And then 2 weeks later, the God is working on your heart. And then you're like, okay, he is kind of fine. Hold on. I mean, what changed? God working on your heart. So I do believe that that is a thing. But I agree that sitting around just waiting and twiddling your thumbs can be a very dangerous place to be as well, right? If they aren't your soulmate, then they aren't your soulmate. She said, period. If they're not it, then they're just not it. Be your own soulmate first. I think that's a really great example, right? I was watching a podcast yesterday. It's called Not Your Best Moment podcast with Kev on Stage, and he was interviewing the actor Yvonne Orji. And she was talking about how she's also like a woman of faith. And she was talking about how she had to start experiencing and enjoying her own company. So she started doing like solo traveling and things. And she was saying that God was really on her about making sure that she enjoyed her own company first, instead of longing for a mate or somebody to enjoy it with her. He was like, enjoy being with yourself first, And so it reminds me of what Jenny just said. Be your own soulmate first. Make sure you are locked in and loaded first, right? You can date lots of non-soulmates to learn and to stay off loneliness. Likely your soulmate is doing that too, but when you both are ready, that they will appear again. Yes, I've been there too. Tammy says, God has matured me and changed my heart to be more aligned with him and his character. I was emotionally immature. That's real. And I think a lot in these conversations, we often want to blame other people. Like, oh, that person, wasn't ready for me. Like, I had my stuff together. They was the one playing. They wasn't on point. They wasn't where they needed to be. But if we turn that mirror on ourselves, there's areas of our lives that we needed to change too, that we need to be better in, that we need to be more equipped in, and our character needed to grow in God or outside of that with just more practical or natural things too, right? And so we have to look at the mirror and say, what areas am I slacking? Am I lacking? Am I prepared to receive my soulmate? Woo! Here we go. Am I prepared? Am I in am I in position to receive my soulmate? If my soulmate rolled up on me right now, would I be ready? That's the question. If your answer to that is no, then guess what? Looks like you need to go ahead and do a little bit more work. Right? But if your answer is yes, okay, cool. I love this. You've been putting in the work, the time, and the energy to make sure that it happens. And I love that for you. Right? Tammy says we have to be ready. Yep. In season and out of season. If you stay ready, that's what the that's what the rapper said. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, right? Like the goal is to stay ready, and we're always changing, we're always evolving, we're always getting better. God is always working on us and fine-tuning us. Even when we think we've accomplished a thing, or we're no longer dealing with the thing or struggling with something, there's something else that we got to work on, right? The list is always, God is like, you know what? Yeah, you are no longer dealing with that, but let me tighten that thing up a little bit. So when you do get this person, you are with this mate, you are with this job, you are have these kids, you do have these things, right? Like you're not going to jack it up, right? Like you'll be ready for it. Once all the 7 key relationship components are present in my life, then I can recognize them in the right partner. That's very true. Because, I always talk about the key relationship components, right? I think that's in my Hard Work or Harmony book. But yes, okay, so have you ever, we got to be real, we got to keep it real, right? Have you ever, especially the people who are watching the replay, have you ever stayed in a toxic, unhealthy relationship for way too long because you thought that they were the one? You thought that it was fate. You thought like, oh, this is my person, so I'm going to thug it out. This is just a season. I'm going to stick with this person. I'm going to rock with them. I'm going to go hard with them. Has that ever happened to you? It's for sure happened to me. Mm-hmm. Jenny says, I'm very loyal. She said it happened to her a few times. And I think that's the key part. It's like sometimes we're loyal to the wrong person. We're loyal to the wrong doggone person, right? That person probably don't even deserve your loyalty, deserve you rocking with them that hard. Because once again, the key word was they were toxic. So that means they were unhealthy. But you thought that it was fate. You thought, oh, I'm going to stick beside this person. Why? And when we become wise and when our eyes open up a little bit, we're saying, you know what, this is no longer serving us. We got to do something different. That's important, right? Growth, for sure, growth. Okay, so let's, towards the end of our conversations, I always like to kind of just have you guys reflect and think a little bit, right? We've had a lot of fun times or fun moments. We played games and all of these things, but at the end of these, I really like for you guys to really be reflective on like how you can redefine the way that you view love. Whether you believe in soulmates or you don't believe in soulmates, you believe in some version of it. You have some people believe in multiple soulmates, some people believe in twin flames. Like I didn't want excuse me, I didn't want to go that deep into that because we can go down a whole rabbit hole with all of these different terminologies, right? But I wanted to stick with something that was actually congruent as well. That's why I added in the compatibility piece. Tammy says, I also knew it wasn't right, but stayed because I was also broken and not healed. That's real. Sometimes we're so broken and we're in a jacked up place, a messed up place so badly that we think that that's what we deserve. That person is all we can get. And we stay because it's just like, well, this is comfortable for me. Well, I don't know what else I'm going to do. Who else is going to want me? I'm broken. I'm jacked up. But in all actuality, if you pick up the pieces, right, and you submit to him, like he'll help you figure that out. So if the true definition of love was based on peace and not passion, what would need to change in the way that we chose partners as a whole? I'm not saying you guys have to answer this question now. If you want to, feel free. But I want to kind of just give us food for thought. Just as a community, just as a as the greater body, just great. Just if love was based on peace and not passion and not that chemistry that we talked about, what would need to change in the way that we chose partners? I think we would choose very differently. We wouldn't chase the most finest person on the planet. We wouldn't chase that heart skipping a beat, the butterflies in our stomachs, just being googly eyed. Like we wouldn't chase those feelings. What we would do is we would say, what person is not stressing me out? What person is calm? What person is compatible with me? What person has the shared values with me, right? Like if we're basing it off of that, that changes the way that we choose people altogether. Because some people enjoy chaotic, right? I talk about like that roller coaster, and you just doing all of this all of the time, and y'all always got to be doing something that is chaos. And guess what? Your nervous system is experiencing that as well. Some people are so used to having chaotic environments, chaotic relationships, that when things slow down and when they do get with a healthy person and a healthy partner, they don't know how to act. That's why I did another video that I'll link in the description of this as well, where it talks about, are healthy relationships boring? Because I hear that a lot. People are like, it's weird, it's kind of boring, like nothing's really happening. And I'm like, your nervous system is just not used to being with someone healthy. You so used to the doggone roller coaster, that when things are even killed, or when you just got a little bit of the little bumps in the road that are normal, you're like, this feels odd, it's weird, it's boring. It's like, no, it's healthy. That's what this feels like. Jenny says, I think of Adam and Eve. We might be dropped by God in pairs. There are temptations and other options always, but one person is ours. Getting in touch with God and ourselves helps us to prove that. I love the Adam and Eve story, and I love that you brought that up, Jenny. So thank you for mentioning that, because one of the things that I love about that story in the Bible is that God was the one who said that it wasn't good for Adam to be alone. Adam never went to God and was just like, hey, God, so I'm lonely out here. I'm just by myself. I don't even know what to do. Like, can you create me a mate or something? Because I'm bored. I want to love somebody. Like, he never went to God with that energy. Like, God was the one that I was like, something, it's not good for a man to be by himself. Let me create him a helpmate, right? God was the one who said that. And that's why relationships are so important to me, because even in the beginning, God was the one who said, people shouldn't be out here by themselves, right? Like, you should have a person. You should be with somebody. Tammy says, we would need to be okay with the slow build instead of the fast and the furious physical connection, right? And that's where people get caught up sexually too. Like, we didn't talk about that as well, but that's where the connections of, I got to go and have sex with this person, one night stand, because the energy, the chemistry, the vibe is there. I got to go and experience this, versus it being a slow burn, versus it being like, let's just take our time and see, like, what are we racing to the bedroom for anyway, right? Like, that isn't what needs to happen here. And sometimes if we take that time, we'll realize that, oh, this is somebody I don't want to sleep with anyway. I'm glad I didn't sleep with you. I think I missed something that Jenny said. You talked about Adam and Eve. We would need to be okay with slowing down. I saw that one. I want someone consistent, intentional, and who understands how to build a strong foundation. That foundation is key. Because if your foundation isn't solid, then what do you truly have? Right? It's just like building a house, right? And the foundation is all raggedy and lumpy and just not leveled out, and all like you didn't use the best tools to build the foundation. You used some wood and some things that's just like, oh yeah, if the flood comes, that's gonna be washed away. That's gonna be eroded and corroded and all of those. Like, if you don't have the right tools to build the foundation, the rest of the house is going to fall. The rest of the house is not going to be stable. The rest of the house is not going to be cute. On the outside, it might be cute. Like, oh, that house is cute. But let the wind come. Let the rain come. Let the sleet and the snow and all of the things come. Let the earthquake come. I'm in California. I'm in LA. So earthquakes are very real. Let the fires come. Right? it changes everything. So making sure that your foundation is solid is key, right? I think about like when the Bible talks about, I'm so glad we're having this spiritual conversation. I love when these conversations turn spiritual. I love this. But that's why it talks about like even the word that God being the chief cornerstone, the stone that the builders rejected, right? Like, hey, like this is good to me. So making sure we have that firm foundation, that solid foundation is so important. About growth and merging into something smoother, absolutely, 100%. So think about that too. Like if we chose partners based on peace and not passion, about just trying to move things too fast and making sure that things were safe and reciprocal. Y'all know that's my word, reciprocity. Make sure that there's reciprocity and things are calm. Things can be passionate too. It doesn't mean that just because something is healthy doesn't mean that it's not going to have passion. It can. It absolutely can. But you have to make sure the other things are there too, that there's alignment, that there's support, that there's trust, that there's honesty, that the values are aligned, that the foundation is solid and locked and loaded. All of those things are so important because if you don't have that, you really truly don't have anything. So let's talk about some key takeaways, some things that we could walk away with. And also too, if you guys have any questions, now is a great time to put them in the chat box because I will absolutely answer them for sure before I hop off of here. So regardless of if you are in the camp of soulmates existing, not existing, or you believe that they exist and it's one person, or you believe that they exist and there's just multiple people. Ooh, excuse me. I think someone put in the comment section, as I mentioned previously, on the poll that I did about soulmates, someone said that they don't even believe that soulmates are romantic, that they believe that soulmates are platonic. That's a different perspective too, right? It's just like, people think that, you can have friendships that are soulmates. Like, this is my person. There's no romantic vibe or interest here. It's just genuinely God put this person in my life for this particular reason, and I love that, right? So soulmates may exist, but also compatibility is really important to make sure that it's going to be long lasting, right? Don't confuse intense connection with emotional safety. Just because y'all got a high level of chemistry don't mean that that's going to be a safe person for you. Don't mean that that's somebody that you should be with. Does not mean any of those things. Don't confuse that. Don't confuse the trauma bonding with the divine connections like we talked about earlier. Make sure that those things are true. Sorry, somebody put something completely inappropriate and we're not going to let that slide. Jenny says boring has to be okay, and there's probably trauma that needs to be worked through. When you come from instability, calm can feel eerie at times. Absolutely, because you also have to deal with yourself. When there's calmness, when there's stillness, when there's not a lot going on, it's just like, hold on, what's going on here? This feels weird, and it is. There's a level of trauma that you have to work through, and your nervous system has to be okay with things not being on this crazy roller coaster. And I firmly believe that healthy relationships, they don't just drop out of the sky either, regardless if you believe in soulmates or not, right? Like, it isn't just some like God is just going to be like, pew, and drop this person right here in front of me. And they're going to be like, hi, I'm your soulmate. And you're going to be like, awesome, let's get married. Like, it just doesn't, it doesn't work that way, Like, you have to do life. You have to go places. You have to meet people. You have to get outside. You have to go to more places than just the gas station and the grocery store, right? To meet people. And while I know so many people have met their partner through very unique ways, like, it was because they was outside, It was absolutely outside. Uh-oh. Take two. My question was too long. Uh-oh. You want to rewrite it real quick, or you want to condense it to make sure I get it answered before we hop off? And I think choice is really important too. Because even what if you found somebody that was your soulmate and you didn't choose correctly because you were so stuck on somebody else? That's a real thing too. Messing around with the people you're not supposed to be with, your soulmate come into your life. person you're supposed to be with come into your life, but you preoccupied with Joe Schmo and them and having a good time, and you just oblivious to this person being the thing, So make sure that you're choosing well, and you're choosing somebody that's going to be in the long-term trajectory of your life and your lifestyle. Tammy says, are there a lot of men who do the work to have a healthy relationship? I can't quantify that and say like, oh yeah, 80% or 60% or 10%, I really can't quantify that. One thing that I do know for sure is that I have personally seen that more women are trying, putting in the work. They're the ones who show up at conferences. They're the ones who are in therapy the most. They are the ones who read the books. They are the ones who show up on lives, right? And engage and have those conversations. Like they're the ones who are doing a lot of the work. And not to say that men aren't. Let me put that disclaimer out there because somebody's going to be like, Kiaundra said. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying at higher levels, I see more women engaged in trying to become better and have healthy relationships and work on themselves in ways that I don't see men doing that. Or it just looks very differently, right? And so I know that this is a common question that I see with women. A lot of the time, they're like, well, I'm doing the work and I'm putting in the work, but these men aren't. And it's just like, well, that's when you also got to give it to God. Because trying to control what the other man is doing, what the other person is doing, when they're doing it and how they're doing it, baby, don't nobody got time for that either, right? Work on you. Work on you. Jenny says you will be oblivious until you are ready to be the soulmate too. That is true. I'm not running into a lot of men who read, watch podcasts, or read books regarding relationship. Yeah. And also too, like, I hate to say this, but sometimes we have to get outside of our typical circle, right? If we're looking for men who do emotionally intelligent things like watch podcasts, read books, go to therapy, work on themselves, journal, do all of those things. Not to say that you can't, date within your race or whatever your preferences are, but sometimes you need to look outside the typical places that you go. If you want somebody on that level, maybe you should probably, hang around more professionals, more people who are more apt to do that, right? So I get what you're saying, Tammy. Like it can be a very tricky space to be in. But that's where you have to keep that faith. You got to keep knowing that God's plans for you are for good and not for evil, to give you a hope and to give you a future, right? And if God can say, hey, it's not good for man to be alone, it's not good for Adam to be alone, he can say the same thing about you, Tammy. It is not good for Tammy to be alone. Let me send her somebody. All right. Tammy says, I met a man who asked me to give him time to learn how to court me. I asked him to be intentional and he was not connecting on what that means. Yeah. And I guess what? It didn't work out. You chucked up the deuces at him and was like, sir, at our grown age, I can't tell you how to court. That's something your mama or your daddy should have taught you, right? Like, you want me to tell you how to pursue me? Please. Absolutely not. Absolutely, we're not doing that, right? We're not doing that at all. So I think you're 100% right. Like, give the time and the energy to people who are giving reciprocity, right? Now, I'm not saying he's going to be perfect. Maybe someone never really taught him and he's trying. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But also, too, being intentional. That's not a rocket science. Put in energy, check in, video chat me, call me, text me, plan a date, buy me some flowers, have meaningful conversations. Like, do more than just, try to get into people's pants. Like you said, at our big age, absolutely not, sir. We're not doing that. Especially when you already told them how to do it. Like, what? Yeah. So that's awesome. So thank you guys so much for being involved in another live on my channel. I try to make sure that I go live at least once a month on a very interesting topic. So if you have any other topic ideas that you want me to discuss in upcoming months, put them in the chat box, even if you're watching the replay. And then that way I can go back and look at them and we can start engaging in some of those conversations, because I want to talk about the things that y'all want to talk about. not the things that I think we should talk about, right? So I appreciate you guys for being active, for being present. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for the people who are on here but just didn't say anything. Thank you for the people who are watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you love this live and my energy and all of those things, please do not hesitate to consider joining the membership on my channel. Right, there is a small fee attached to that, but you get additional love. Okay, you get additional love. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will talk to you soon. Be blessed.